on there.
Henry, you fell down on the job. Okay.
Um, yeah, I know they have used, but I've never bought or sold them anything. I did what you did one time at Service Photo. I wanted the Nikon D850, so it was Nikon Day, and they were doing the bump up on there. If you
Right.
bought the camera, if you bought something. So I took one I knew I didn't want anymore. Because it was because of the age of it. You know, and at that point, something was better than nothing because I wasn't going to use the darn thing.
Exactly. I mean, even like I had some point and shoots that my wife and I had from years ago, like these Canon GX7s or something like that. I threw them on the MPV, and you know they were offering $200-300 for it, which I thought was great. I mean, because they were sitting in a drawer doing nothing, and you're going to be $200. You got it, buddy.
Yeah, but speaking about old cameras, though, if it's a vintage collectible, that's one thing. But if
Right.
it is an older model that Nikon or Canon is no longer servicing, like my D300, they told me they didn't want it. They said,
Well,
"Just
no.
take it home."
Well, all I know is they gave me a price for these, and you know, these were down around that 40% line because they were a little bit older. But you know, I mean, that's all my wife had been using for the last couple of years or so till I bought her a Sony RX10 because she don't want to hear about aperture and all that. She just wants to take flowers and be happy. And she does good. She does a better job of composition than I do. But I'm kind of the technocrat. And like I said, I'm thinking about moving up to the R series. And the other thing I think I'm going to do, even before I pull the trigger on selling this stuff, is go to Service Photo and rent an R camera with an adapter and see if these current lenses I have perform well. Because everything I'm reading online saying your EF lenses should do fine, as opposed to having to worry about going to all the new RF lenses. And I think, you know, that could be an economic move on my part. Sell part of my lenses.
I think
sorry.
that's a wise choice. You know, rent it first and see
Yeah,
if it works with your lenses, and then you know if it does, you're in like Flint.
yeah. You know, so that's kind of my game plan right now. But right now, like I say, I'm just kind of getting an idea if I want to just unload everything. And actually, the camera I bought my wife, this Sony RX10, you know,
That's a good one.
it's the most sophisticated point and shoot I've ever seen. And you know, she better not hear this. I said I've got all the automatic things set just above dummy, so she can slowly learn the camera.
Good for you. Okay, so who has experience with a group like KEH? Anybody?
So I've dealt with KEH.
What are they located? I'm sorry.
Okay, they're
KEH is an online place out of Georgia.
Okay.
They're one of the biggest retailers, wholesalers, whatever, of used
Right.
equipment. That's
I
pretty
have-
much all they do is used equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have sold to them. And you go online, you tell them what you have, estimate the condition, and they give you an estimate right there. What they, you know, pending review.
Right.
That was good for stuff. I just threw in a box one time and it was with other things, and I was just like, I know I'm not going to use this anymore.
So
Freaking out there, Cam.
I did prepare a little thing here to go to KEH.
Oh, okay.
Example. So when you are ready to sell, they give you, so you're going to list your items here and you can continue to add so you have multiple items.
Right.
So once you have those, then you pack it. They send you a packing, you pack it up in a box and bubble wrap it or whatever, and they send you a packing slip or they'll for a pickup at your house.
Okay.
So they
Yeah,
get
I
packed.
don't-
then they get it, they evaluate it, and they adjust your whatever. I guess they give you a chance to say yay or nay, and then they send you a check or
Yeah.
somehow electronically deposited or something. I don't know because I've never dealt with
Yeah,
that.
they do. Once they've done their evaluation, you get an email that says this is what we think it is. And if I recall right, one time they even said some of my stuff was better than what I said it was.
Okay,
So some,
Right.
some of it was the same. I think I've had everything, better, same, worse. But I have had better. Now they will bump you up on the percentage. They'll bump you up with a gift card. Like if if you get your money in a gift card, I think it is that you're going to use to buy something else, you get a little more back from them.
right.
Right. Although I
And
bought
I have
something
bought-
else,
I've bought a
they didn't
couple
offer
lenses.
me that at Service Photo.
What's that?
I did buy something else at Service Photo and they never offered me that, so.
Oh, sorry to hear that. I wish you'd said, I was starting to know you were going on it. Told you to ask for it.
Yeah, I know, I should have done that.
And then I did buy, it's called lensauthority.com. That's where I actually bought my 500 f4 prime lens used.
Lens Authority.
Lens Authority. They're
Okay.
really the sales arm of lensrental.com.
Okay. All right. So anybody else selling to one of these off-site places? Does anybody else have experience with that? Okay, so we covered taking it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
I have bought and sold cameras, and I've dealt with cameras. And one of the things that you have to realize when somebody is buying your camera is that they've got to resell it. They've got to hang on to it.
Mhm.
It may not be resellable for quite a while. 30% on a camera that you no longer use, that you no longer want, that you no longer deal with is a good deal.
Right. I figured anything that they're going to pay me for it not to sit in my drawer anymore unused is
Exactly.
worthwhile.
Exactly.
Yes. Now I
Exactly.
sold privately, and I don't know if any of you have sold privately. I know Howard has sold privately, right?
I've tried.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
So I put the whole list of lenses that I had and the camera body that I had on the Facebook page. And I got 2 bites immediately. One person wanted the Nikon macro lens, and the other person wanted the 70 to 200 lens. 70 to 200 lens. So I didn't bother to figure out any prices because I figured it was all going to Service Photo until they asked me. So I got online and I looked and I saw, what is Adorama selling it for? What is B&H selling it for? They're used in the used category. And what is it on Amazon used? So I sourced it out to like 3 different places. And let's say one lens came in around $1,300 each time. So I then just said $1,200. So I figured I got $100 off. And then I said cash only. And next thing I knew, somebody's rolling up here to get the lens. Now, the difficulty is, of course, you're selling to a friend and somebody you know, and if they have a problem with it or they can't get it sharp or they whatever, then it might damage your friend relationship a little bit. But I always advise the people who got a lens from me to have the camera calibrated. If it's a DSLR, have it calibrated for your camera body. But that's all I did is I just looked at the prices and found 3 different sources for my lens. And I was very particular about making sure that the picture looked the same, all the print on it was the same, everything was the same. So I didn't have boxes with it. I didn't have warranty information with it. I didn't have all that, but they were willing to pay because I knocked $100 off and it was immediate delivery. So that was good. But that's the only other way that I have sold is like putting it on Facebook and somebody has bought it from me. But there are other ways. Has anybody else sold privately like that to a friend?
This is Gundars.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
I've used eBay, and I've bought a lot of lenses on eBay and cameras, and sold lenses on eBay. And eBay's got this warranty or guarantee that somebody stiffs you, they'll take care of it. So what I've done is I've mostly gotten it where I get online and find find somebody where they sell it for a certain price,
Right?
instead of bidding on it, it's sort of pain to bid on it and then
Oh, buy it now price.
buy it
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
And I've sold lenses and I bought lenses and bought camera bodies and I've never had any real problems.
Well, they do mark up. They do take a cut, right? Don't they take a % of your sale?
They take a cut, but you can set your price.
To account for the cut.
You set your,
Okay.
yeah, and I know, I also did something on Amazon, but Amazon is pretty nasty about the cut they want. I did sell one, I had a scanner that I couldn't, nobody wanted on eBay and I put it on Amazon. I think it was there about 8 months before it sold, but I got a good price on it.
Oh my,
And I didn't care whether I got, what the cut was. But I think for normal stuff, Amazon is pretty high on their cut.
mm. Anybody else selling on Craigslist or eBay or?
I haven't done it, but there's like Facebook Marketplace.
Yes, there is Facebook Marketplace.
I'm just reluctant. I'm reluctant to do things where someone's gonna have to come to my house to pick it up.
Right. So I was reading today some of the guidelines and they always said meet at a public location, like meet, in the parking lot of a Starbucks, for example, or meet even in the parking lot of a police station. Because if you're handing over expensive gear, with $3,000, then you're expecting $3,000 back, that could be a little tricky in today's world. So you do have safety issues in making the transaction. So that could be a problem.
PayPal is wonderful.
Yes,
can
do a
always-
Venmo or PayPal or Zelle or something like that, but you still have to meet the person face to face to hand over the gear.
Not necessarily. You can
Really?
do PayPal and mail it to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
If
I
I can
guess.
mail it, but I don't want strangers coming to my house.
right.
When I did eBay, it was all via mail, so it wasn't, never saw anybody, never talked to anybody about it, just email, eBay and email, messages back and forth.
Oh, gosh, it can be tricky. Anybody else have any experience?
Bought and sold online, yeah. I bought
Who's speaking?
This is Larry.
Okay, good.
I bought a 600 Nikon f4.5, I guess it was. And or 5.6, I guess. One of the old heavy ones.
Oh, a prime lens?
I bought that online and I sold it through a newspaper ad. And I also had I lusted after that, what was it? 300 f4, I think it was, Nikon made. And I bought that and used it for a while and then sold that one. So I've got one right now that's older than I am. It's I can't think of it now. It's the old 120 film. I can't help you with it. I forgot the name. Anyway, I picked that up at eBay, I think, and it is in excellent shape. It's the old, when you look in the top and take a picture of it,
Twin lens reflex.
yeah. And that thing is got the leather case in prime condition. It's I even have on the double lens, I even have a lens shade for that particular one. I don't know how I got that, but anyway, so I'm gonna try and sell that one. And I've got 2 or 3 Nikon cameras that are next thing, if they don't sell, will be a boat anchor.
Right. Gosh.
So Pam, this is Kim, Larry's daughter. Question, with these great ideas and places, I've been taking notes. Is it possible to maybe just get a brief list or something for sure if, you know,
Sure.
local versus online recommendations as well?
I've been kind of adding to a
On the screen,
Word
you can,
document as we
Yeah.
go along. So
Yeah.
this is a website here that says, don't sell your gear at eBay. And it says, if you want to get more, you should avoid eBay because it says they have high seller fees. You'll get charged 10 to 13% of the final value of your item. So that's interesting to know. And then it says, don't sell it to the camera store, to MPB, B&H, or Adorama, because they're going to cut it. They're going to turn around and sell it for 25% more than what they paid you for it. And that's what happened at Service Photo. I know that. I mean, if they can sell it, they got a bunch of inventory there. They really do.
well, it was interesting when I sold all my film equipment to them and everybody was moving to digital. I said to Bert, what do you do with all this stuff? He's got a thing full of it. He says, well, Micah still requires kids to take film courses and do darkroom work. So these kids come in here and they buy the body and maybe a lens or two. It gets them through that first or second year at the Maryland Institute of Art or whatever it is.
Right.
And that's where I sell them all. He said, that's my customer for them, which now that was 10 years ago. I don't know who'd be buying them now because I can't believe that they're still pushing darkroom work in film
Oh, gosh.
in this day and age.
Okay, so here's a site called Gear Up. That sounds interesting. It says it's similar to eBay in that people can list their own used or new equipment and browse listings from other creatives all over the USA to buy from. Unlike eBay, you'll get a lot more money when you sell your gear. They only charge a 3.5% seller fee and $2 for each item sold. Okay, so that's a site I've never heard of. Craigslist, it says, is a good place. But, it says always bring along a friend and keep your money in your car at first. So that's the whole deal of meeting up with someone that's a stranger when you've got a lot of money and gear. So you might want to be careful about that, but there's some good information. Now, this is tips. Include the original box if you can, clean it, take some photos with it to show that this lens took these photos, I guess, and then be detailed and be honest. So also I would say have the front cap and the lens cap and the hood and all of the stuff that you can and the battery and the cables and the things that came with a camera, for example, the charger, because all those little things will discount the costs because they're going to have to supply those, or somebody's going to have to buy those to go with the camera or whatever it is you're selling. So
they want the camera strap.
yeah.
Yeah.
They always ask for that.
They all-
The old original camera strap that nobody
The original
uses.
camera strap, they always
Skinny
ask for
one
that.
that cuts the neck. Oh, okay. A good thing to know about. All right, and then I found people will, if you're selling a camera, they, especially on some of these Facebook pages, they ask you, what is the shutter count? So here's a place you can go to find the shutter count. So I tried this one time. I took a photo and then I uploaded the photo to this site, and it says they dig through the EXIF data, but I'm thinking Lightroom can probably dig through the EXIF data too. Anyway, and they'll find how many times your camera has been clicked. I don't know if that really makes a difference or not, but then you can compare that shutter count to the camera's life expectancy. So I just sold a Z6 that had hardly been used. So it had like a shutter count of less than 2,000. And I know if I sold my D500, I'd have a shutter count of 50,000 on that. All right, and then B&H has these tips too, and they say what to do with your old cameras. Now these are good. Okay, so you can sell it, you can donate it to a school, you can donate it to charity, you can repurpose it, make it into an art project, beat it up, take the guts out, do something as an art project, use it as a backup, or actually use your camera. What a novel idea. So anyway.
Except when it weighs 50 pounds.
Yeah, and these are the donate to charities that they recommend. And some schools do have photography departments, and they do want cameras for their students who can't afford cameras. So it is nice to donate to a school, as long as you have the battery and the charger and all of those things that someone can continue to use it. So this was some of their suggestions, and pass it on. Said you don't want it to go to the dump. So anyway, those are some of the ideas, but does anybody have any gear that they're looking to unload? I know Marshall said let me back up quickly. Someone whose father owned a camera store, you might have seen it on Facebook, that I had all these filters, like 100 different filters, and I was offering them to people who wanted them. So I asked them at Service Photo, will you take these filters? And they said, no, do an art project with them. They don't want the old red, yellow, blue, green filters, UV filters, any of those filters, because they say you can do all of that, of course, except for cutting polarization. You need a polarizer filter to cut glare. But they said you can do just about all the rest of it with software nowadays. So they were not interested in filters. Now, they might be interested in old good glass, like Zeiss and whoever else makes good glass. I never was a film shooter, so I'm kind of unknowledgeable about that stuff. But Marshall, you're on here, right? Don't you have some things?
Yeah, but I went through my inventory.
You're muted,
You
Marshall.
muted yourself.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Still muted.
Marshall.
I'm here.
We can hear you now. Okay.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I went through some of my Nikon stuff this afternoon that I'm thinking of getting rid of. And one of the items, Cam, was the lens I took to Service Photo. You remember the 70 to 200 2.8 zoom, Nikon zoom. And I remember they offered, I believe it was $450 for it. And it's like new condition. And
Because it wasn't a generation 2
right. And
lens.
it's not,
Mine was
it's
a
not
generation
late,
2.
I think I bought it in 2004. So it's not the newest new, but it works on my D750, and I imagine works on all full frame cameras that are out there right now. So I've got the box in its pristine condition. So I think what I did, I didn't accept the offer, and the guy said, well, part of the thing was, like Cam was saying, that it was $450, and they were going to turn around and sell it for $600. I said, well, maybe somebody in the club would buy it for $500, and then I'll be going to a good home, and then give me a few bucks more than they were offering. And I've got a wide angle that I pulled out, which is also an older lens. It's a Nikon D lens, like the 70 to 200, but it works with all 8. It works with my 750, and everything connects electronically. And that's also in good shape. I haven't used it too much, but it's an 18 to 35, I believe. Yeah, 18 to 35. Then I got some old lenses, which I actually looked up on eBay, and there's a ton of these things for sale on eBay. And they're all made in Japan, of course, and they're all heavy. They all got good glass, but they're all going for 100 to 250, but I'd sell them all for a couple $100, I think. I got 3 of those. I get all 3 of them, I think, have macro settings on them. They're just old, but they do work with my D750, so I imagine most of the modern versions of Nikon would take them.
Marshall, is one of them the 200 millimeter macro Nikon lens?
No, they're all I should turn this thing around and show it. For example, I've got one here in my hand. It's a short lens. It's a 28-105, but it has macro settings on it. Playing around with the macro setting this afternoon with the newspaper and it really does a good job on macro. And again, it's an old lens, but the glass is good and the lens is in good shape. And everything, I think what I would do if I'm selling this to a company, have them come over here with their camera, put them on, and just see if they work and see if they like them.
That's exactly what I did when I sold the macro lenses. I had them bring the lens over, bring their bodies over. I set up a little scene, and then, because these were friends, I knew them. It wasn't strangers I was letting in my house to shoot macro. But, you know, to try it out and see if they like it and help them learn how to use that lens. I think that's important in making a sale, because then somebody gets enthusiastic about the lens. But, okay,
See,
so
that
old
was
camera-
strangers though.
yeah, that I did not deal with strangers. I sold one to Valerie Dyer and I sold one to Elizabeth Slade, so we're good. But
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if I don't sell these to somebody that I know, or at least they're in the camera club, I'll probably take them to Service Photo. So I have those two old ones. And I have one that's it's also wide angle, 22 at the 3.5 wide open and closed down. It's f/22, and it's an 18-35. I'm not sure this one's the ED lens. I'm not sure when I bought this, but I think it was right around when I got, probably in the 2005 or 6, sometime somewhere in that framework. So
I think the moral of the story here is, or what I'm seeing is a trend with so many people going to mirrorless cameras now. This might be the time, we might even be on the tail end of the good time to unload some of your DSLR equipment. You know,
Yeah.
so many people are moving to that now. Although, yes, there's an adapter that you can add to, I guess Canon has the adapter too for their camera, but it's getting scary out there to get when you got a lot of camera gear sitting there that you're not using or that's too heavy to use, like in my case.
Cam, is it an option to make out a good list and post it on the Facebook page? Would that be the best way to?
That's a good way to start.
Okay.
Yes. So be specific about it, as far as, you know, all the numbers that are on the lens, I guess, the typical numbers, and your dad would know what those numbers are that should be there.
Yeah.
And then put a list out on the Facebook page. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then somebody may say, yeah, sure, I'm interested in such and such. So that's what I did. And I unloaded 2 but for cash before I
Yeah.
went to Service Photo. I just took the rest down there. I was into convenience.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't worth it to go to multiple places and try to get, you know, $50 more.
All about that.
Yeah, exactly. And we're
That
all,
has something to say.
okay, good.
You're talking about Facebook. Has anyone gone to Facebook sponsored marketplace?
That's what they mean.
That's what you're talking about?
No.
Well,
I'm talking about the Frederick Camera Click Facebook page.
Yeah.
It's a private page.
listed on the
But there is Marketplace, which is a
Oh.
lot like Craigslist. You know,
Yeah.
again, you've got to
Hmm.
make the private transaction with somebody. You got to wait for them to show up. They change their mind. You find out that this person lives in, you know, Roanoke, Virginia, who just agreed to buy your lens, and they take, you know, it just doesn't work in a lot of cases.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of discouraging experiences just trying to even give away free stuff on Marketplace.
Well,
Previously,
I'll
I
just
did
keep-
furniture sales, and that's how I rehabbed furniture and resold it and all of that type of thing. So I'm very, very familiar with it, but it is a very big pain, and it does expose you to going to people's homes or whatever and all of that cash transaction. I think in recent years, the development of PayPal and Zelle or Venmo is very helpful because you can guarantee your cash for the product kind of thing ahead of it. But I do think it's a riskier type of thing rather and less convenient, obviously, than going to the one-stop shop and unloading if that's your mode for sure.
Right.
Well, I think I'll just keep my DSLR 850 and that's it. Nikon.
There's no reason you can't buy something in addition to it.
Yeah,
But I do.
that's a possibility, but
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, most of these folks are selling all this older equipment and lenses. The heavy stuff are over 70 years old.
well,
In reality,
that's
Just
my
barely,
group.
just barely over 70. One day.
Well,
it was
Marshall, you make a good point, because my wife and I were heading to Alaska a couple years ago, and I looked at the lenses and the bodies, and I knew that was going to be restricted on some of these trains and that we were going to be on, and I said, I'm not going to be a damn pack mule. And I went to the Service Photo, or maybe it was Amazon, I don't remember which. I mean, Canon doesn't even make this camera anymore. It was the M5, now it's an M50. And I bought that, and it was a C sensor, and I bought 2 lenses with it, and that was my kit for the Alaska trip. And you can't tell the difference between Alaska and anything I've shot around here with the bazookas. So I'm at that point too. Not only do I want to get rid of those heavy lenses, I'll give you the backpack that goes with them.
Oh, gosh.
Kim,
Okay.
Also,
just-
I'd
Kim,
like
one
to
other
add one
thought.
last thing about vintage cameras. If anybody has any Polaroids, they're a really hot commodity right now, and I'd take them.
Working
yeah.
Polaroids.
Yeah,
That's
But even-
the problem.
Even as displays, though, I'm telling you, because I work in a home decor / furniture / vintage shop, and
yes.
it's just like the way it looks. So anyways, just throwing that out there.
I agree.
This is-
Vintage cameras are a different matter. Now,
Yeah.
I have a nice collection of vintage cameras. I love them for the decor. I don't know how to use one of them, but I dust them and they're on a shelf and I admire them, and they fill up a nice corner and makes me look like I'm into photography that
Who would have guessed?
No, but I mean, maybe I paid $25 for one.
Right.
So they are in demand, whether they work or not.
Yeah.
Shannon Beatty, who's in this club and represents us for the MFA, Maryland MPA, she has an old Leica, and Leica stopped making her battery now, and she
Oh.
cannot find a battery to keep her camera alive. So she is scrambling right now, looking on eBay, looking on vintage sites, looking on Etsy, looking everywhere to try to find a battery that will, and her battery is going soon. She knows it's old. So there's a danger in that. But
Yeah.
Howard, have you got any parting comments or advice or questions?
Before you get into that, this is
Okay.
Gary. I have I collect vintage cameras, and I have probably 200 or 300. And I would like to start moving them. And if the market is hot, I don't know who said that.
Kim
I would
did.
like to get in touch with them.
Yeah. I work.
It depends.
It does depend. But a lot of
But you
Oh,
look like you're Larry. Are you
I
Larry?
know we're here together though.
Who are you?
Larry Norris and Kim Harrington, newer.
Okay.
His camera on his computer does not allow for good video at all.
Okay.
Um,
So that's Kim Harrington.
Yes. And I'm new to I take pictures on my iPhone, but I'm here to assist and help Dad acclimate to Frederick. They just moved here last year, and get back into some socialization with Camera Club. So there's a couple of vintage places in town. I actually work at a Vintage MC, not to plug it, but she does mid-century modern, and we have a lot of Polaroids and vintage things. But if you want to email or Facebook me or something, then I might be able to find some people to help you out. I don't know.
Great. I'll get in touch with Kim,
Yeah.
with Sam, to find out what your email address is.
Okay.
Happy to do it. Good.
Right.
Okay, let's go down the line here. Howard, what have you got? Any questions, comments, concerns?
I don't
Things
really
to
have anything to
sell?
contribute on this time around. I really haven't been using I've been using all my equipment, but gosh, I have some equipment that's 20 years old that I'm still using.
Mhm.
So I haven't been trying to get rid of it. I didn't buy a new lens. Imagine that within the last couple of months. But that's the first time in 10 years I've had a new lens.
That sounds just scam.
Yeah. I'll buy
There's
anything.
anything.
Oh, gosh. So have you gone mirrorless, or are you moving there at all?
Not at all. I'm
Okay, so-
tempted with Canon, but right now Canon has two mirrorless cameras. One is very well equipped. It sells for about $4,500. I think that's totally out of my rate scale. The other one sells for about $2,200, and it isn't particularly a good match for today's lenses. They probably will be coming out next year, 2022, with a camera that fits better into a sort of a semi-pro level, which I can use.
Good.
But no
Good.
$4,000 ones, forget it.
Okay. So
No.
so you're keeping an eye on things.
Hey, I'm going blind anyhow, so. Oh, I'm serious.
Carol,
I got
any
one eye
part-
that doesn't work. The
Oh,
other
good.
one's got other problems.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, Kim, a couple of things. One, if you're looking for like relatively new lenses, say like you just got the 500 PF
Right.
on Nikon, still a relatively new lens, you might find those on the used market to buy, but they're not, usually not that much cheaper than a brand new one. So check the prices, if you, for something like that, if you're buying used, check the prices of new versus used. And is it really worth saving a couple $100 on a $3,500 lens
Right.
to get it used? But I mean, I've had good luck with a lot of used lenses though, when I've gotten them.
Me too. Me too. I
And
bought.
then, I
from
mean,
used
like
folks.
there was no way I could afford the 500 millimeter f4 prime lens,
Right.
new. But I managed to get, it was like one version old, but it was still a good, that was still a good quality lens.
Mhm. point.
And still very usable. And it really was practically like new when I got it.
Good. Gundar.
But just another source is, if you want to deal with camera stores, is Hunt's out of New England.
Yes.
They will
Yeah.
buy and sell used. I mean, they did right. I had bought a used Z7. And then about a year later, I got the Z7 II. And I sold that back to them for that one, and I got all but $500 or $600 back on it.
Good.
And what I paid for the original used one, which I didn't think was a bad deal.
Okay. It was Ace in Baltimore. Ace in Ashburn.
Ashburn,
Ashburn. Oops. Ashburn. Okay.
let's say District Imaging in Burke or DC.
Also Arlington.
And Burke.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They opened that one in,
For some reason, it doesn't want to type an E, Virginia, or in DC. Okay. Gundars, any parting comments?
Well, I
suggestions?
probably have to look at my list. I bought a Fujifilm mirrorless, and so I need to probably see what I got and maybe sell some things. So I may put a list up on the site, on the
We
Facebook site.
We do have some camera club users who have older camera bodies or are still working with just kit lenses that are interested in getting a macro lens or getting a bigger zoom. So yes, we do have some interest out there in purchasing the equipment. I know that. Okay.
Gundars, I'm a Fuji shooter, mirrorless, so might be interested in what you might have.
Good.
Well, I'm not selling any of the Fuji stuff. I'm just selling Canon.
Oh,
stuff.
Canon stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm selling Canon stuff too to go with my Fuji.
But I am looking into getting a converter for I have a 70 to 200 2.8. So even though it's a heavy lens, it's nothing, you can't get that kind of lens with Fuji. So I'm thinking of getting an adapter for that.
Mhm.
All right. Are you looking like at a Metabones type of converter or just a plain converter?
Probably the
There's something that-
Metabones.
Yeah, because.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I have one other observation.
Yeah.
The store Ace Photo that we've talked about several times has a sister store in Seven Corners. I can't tell you the name of it right now, but the folks at Ace certainly would be able to. And just an internet search for a camera store at Seven Corners would do
That's,
it.
Well,
I've
it
been-
used to be Old Dominion.
yeah, that's,
Dominion.
yeah, that's Dominion Photo. It's in Fairfax City.
Okay, I've been in there personally, and it's just like walking into something from 50 years ago. It's a delightful place.
Cool.
It's jammed full of everything.
Oh,
Row
it
after
sounds like a
row after
field trip.
row. You just walk down one aisle and come back out, walk down another aisle and come back.
Dominion where, Carol?
It's in Fairfax City.
Okay.
Neat place.
I had to go there one time because when Ace is good, they didn't do it this November, this April. But and usually the Saturday after tax day and the Saturday before Thanksgiving, they do customer appreciation days where they have multiple factory reps in there and just about everything on sale.
Yep.
Including things like camera bags that pretty much never go on sale anywhere. So they're good for that. Ace and Dominion are good for that, but they're run by the same guy.
Okay,
Yeah, they're all owned by the same.
good to know. All
Uh,
right, Dennis, party.
I'm good.
You're
All
good.
right, like I said, I'm thinking about changing over, and if I can use my EF lenses, like I said, I'm gonna probably rent one of those R series with a converter, see how it works. And
Yeah.
if that's the case, I might buy one RF lens as a prime or something like that, and keep those and just unload the bodies. I mean, on the Canon 5D Mark IV, MPB gave me a price of like $1,500, which I thought was real fair to purchase it from me. And so I'm just slowly moving into it. I mean, I have you guys will appreciate this. Somebody said we're all above 70. One of my reasons.
We're not everybody here.
Okay, sorry I insulted anybody. Well, one of my reasons, after I bought that little M5 and took it to Alaska, I used to do a lot of sports photography for like amateur teams and that sort of thing. And if you're a sports photographer, you're on your knees most of the time, shooting up. Well, that was good when I was 47. At 74, it doesn't work as well. So I need that flip up screen to stand there, hold the camera down like a twin lens reflex and look at the monitor. And that's one of the reasons why I'm considering moving to the R series, because they got the movable screen and that sort of thing, where otherwise I wouldn't be leaving my 5D. It's a great camera, and I probably will keep. I've got two 5D bodies and a 7D body. I will probably keep one of those as a backup. Or if the price is right, they'll all go, and I'll just use the M5 as a backup. But my real reason is because these old knees don't go up and down as well as they used to.
No. Gary, parting comments?
Yeah, I've said earlier, I've dealt in cameras before, and I collect antique cameras. And if anybody is interested into getting into large format cameras, I have some old large format cameras that are relatively inexpensive. And if somebody wants to have do something really different, they're a lot of fun.
Good to know. Okay, I know we have some members that are interested in that.
All right,
Great.
let me show you one.
I don't even know what one looks like.
They're big.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love to take that traveling.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
See, that's decor, if nothing else.
Decor. Yeah.
That's right.
Great. Paul, parting comments?
Oh, just two things. One is that I've bought used equipment from KEH, and I find they're pretty good to deal with for buying used stuff. I think they're honest in rating their equipment. The other thing is, I just personally think that with camera gear and like a lot of things that you buy in life, it's, I amortize it. If I've had it for 10 years and I pay $1,500 for it, that's what, $150 a year, divide that by 12, how much a month I pay. So you got your money out of it. I mean, over time, and you can't look at the original value you paid for it, and just because it's still in mint condition, expect to get that same number when newer gear has come along and replaced it. So sometimes you just have to let go.
That's what I felt when I sold my convertible. I said, I just feel like I rented it for $1,000 a year.
Right.
So it
Exactly.
worked. Okay, Mary, any comments?
Nope. I'm just trying to figure out where to sell it, but I got a lot of good information. Thanks.
Good, okay. Tom?
Nope.
No?
Nope. I'm just gathering info, just trying
Okay.
to find out when the time comes for me to sell something, where to go.
Marshall?
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna,
Oh,
Henry, you're
yeah,
next.
this is Peter.
I'm saving you for last, Peter, because I know you're like buy it, try it, sell it guy. So we're gonna save you for last. Henry, any last minute,
No, I'm fine. I my DSLR, I'm happy with it, and I keep taking pictures with it. So I'm not going the other format yet, but I've been looking.
Okay, good.
Nikon has some new things coming out that are interesting, so I'm looking. That's all.
Okay.
Henry, I know where you can get some nice used Nikon lens. Just let-
Okay, Marshall. Thanks.
Okay, so Peter is the guy that goes through equipment like worse than I do, more than I do. So I remember I heard a tech guru speaking one time in the early days of like Palm Pilots and pagers and things like that. And she said her mantra was buy it, try it, sell it on eBay. So I think that's kind of where Peter is, buys it, tries it, sells it, gets something else. So where do you have a wealth of knowledge, and you must have joined us a little late, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I almost forgot. So,
Oh.
yeah, just on your list, I think with KEH, another one that's come up more recently is what I think somebody mentioned it. MPB is in boy.com. And they're a competitor for KEH, and I think they're as good, maybe slightly better for both buying and selling.
Mhm.
And both of those, they'll actually pay for shipping. So if you don't want to drive to Baltimore, I did actually a comparison once with MPB and Service, and they were within a few dollars of each other. So, but anyway, yeah. I guess it just always surprised me. I haven't shot a flippy mirror camera in probably at least 5 years. So I'm glad everybody else is finally catching up. But
But you sold Nikon, you shot Nikon and sold all that gear.
I
Then you
have
went to what?
I have owned and shot every major brand of
Every
camera in
see?
existence. Pentax.
Like he's a camera rep.
Yeah.
That's great. And what are you shooting now?
Primarily Sony. I have acquired some Fuji stuff to keep it small, but mostly Sony.
Uh-huh. Okay. And have you sold anything privately? I know you have, because you've done that before. You've put it on like the newsletter or in the Facebook.
Yeah,
page, said,
but
I'm
I
selling
think
this gear.
not recently, because I mean, if you do enough of it like I have, then you run into problems. And so, yeah, it's much easier just to take it either to a dealer or to one of these.
And you don't want to put any friendships in jeopardy either. So somebody accuses you of,
Yeah, although I don't think anybody's upset, but
no.
yeah, I mean, you sell it on eBay and then their credit card doesn't work, and there's a whole list of frustrations with that. So yes, you do you'll get the most money if you do it yourself, but it's a lot of hassle. So
Okay, so who else have we got on here? I can't see the participants list. Let's see. I hear Norma. Norma, have you got any questions or comments?
No.
I
Just
know
got to
you
go
had-
through my stuff.
You had some old gear, right, that you inherited that you sold.
Yes.
Okay.
Really old, wicked old.
Right.
I'm still going to figure out what to do with that. I will get into service merchandise once I have some time to go through my lenses and stuff. Because I've got some lenses I don't use and I'll never use. So I'll take them over there and see what they want to do with them.
Good. All right, and
Norma, this is Gary. Norma,
Mhm.
you say you have wicked old stuff.
Gary's interested.
I
Yeah.
I collect before World War I, if you have any
Oh.
of that.
I'm not sure. It belonged to my cousin's partner. And he had a lot of old cameras, like a Leica, a couple of really old Leicas, pre-World War II. And this is the last of the stuff from him, because he passed away. And my cousin asked me to help her sell it. And I
I
did
can
sell
help-
some stuff
I
to
can help-
service merchandise.
I can help you price that stuff.
Okay.
Good, good. That's another email address I'll send you, Gary. I'll send you Norma's and I'll send you Kim's.
Great, thank you.
Okay, good. Diane, I see you're lurking here. Haven't heard a word from you. Are you, got any questions, comments?
Well, I guess the only question, I've done the service photo where I've taken camera equipment down and then just traded in, got what they, gave me, and then just used that money to buy something from them. But I was wondering, do they do, like if you have camera equipment that you want to take down and sell, but you don't want to buy something new, do they just give you a check, do you know?
Yeah, they did me.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So the convenience is the thing. I mean, you got to drive to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why if that's what you want to do, use MPB or KEH, and they do free shipping. They send you a shipping label with UPS or FedEx, and you box it up and send it off, and they'll send it back by PayPal if you want. But
Oh, okay. And they're pretty competitive, the same
Yep.
with service
as
photo?
I said, I did a comparison. I had a bunch of stuff, and they were within less than 1% difference between
Oh, wow.
service and them. So
Good.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, and Judy, any questions, comments?
Well, I am transitioning into mirrorless. I have been shooting with Nikon D750. I have 2 of those. So I did buy a Nikon Z7 II, yeah. Anyway, I'm working on it. I've only got 1 lens. I've ordered a second lens. After I get settled in and feel good about it, then I'll probably be starting to get rid of my old gear because of being over the 70 age bracket, like most of us. Bad shoulders. So I've been carrying a lot of gear around.
Right.
I'll be lightening my load.
Okay, well, I think this has been informative, and I don't want to keep you all too long because there's no one right answer. It's whatever works best for you. And I think the bottom line though is if it's gear that you're not using and it's just collecting dust, then why not get rid of it? Because you know what's going to happen when you die and your kids come along.
They're going to get rid of it.
Exactly. They're going to get rid of it. And so may as well do that now. So and get something you will use.
And my other advice about selling stuff, and I know everybody probably knows this, but it's really
you're still there. Okay. Oh yes, Larry. Okay, good.
It's only, things are only worth the value of what someone's willing to pay for it.
Yep.
True. And you know, if you go down to Service Photo and they've got, 30, 50 millimeter prime lines, little prime lenses down there already, they don't need another one. So they might not give you anything for it because they haven't sold the 30 they've got. So anyway. Okay, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And if you have a topic you want to talk about 2 weeks from now, let me know. Okay.
Kim, are you going to send out maybe this Word document you put together with all the information?
Yes, I will.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Hey,
All right,
Kim,
everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thanks for all the info.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Have a good one.
night.
Good night.